Okay, everybody, we're back today for another look at creating worlds in Roblox for export via Unity to AltSpace VR. And yesterday we looked at, if you look at my previous live broadcast, we looked at creating templates in Roblox Unity for AltSpace VR. That is, we used our Roblox models to go into Unity to build a world and then export that whole world as a template. Today we want to look at making kits of things that we can put in that may not necessarily be fixed in place. And that can be a bit trickier. What I want to do is take this soccer ball and bring that in to a kit. So let's be first clear about the distinction that the whole world that you see here has to be rebuilt in Unity and then made into a template so that you can then wander around it. And that would be like a movie set, like Old West or New York City or Paris of the 18th century. And then the objects can be brought in kits, which are like props, which are used to dress the set. And the set stays as it is with fixed objects, but anything you want to move about, you would do as a kit. So for example, this golf cart is not going to be always in the same place. So this solar-powered golf cart that we have at Rosebud, I'd want to make into a kit. So let's get to that. Let's see if that works. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So we're going to use this soccer ball here as our first example, and it doesn't have a name, so let me name it. You should always name everything, and I didn't. So soccer ball. And the soccer ball contains decals, which are the pictures that make it look like a soccer ball, and it's just basically a sphere, so it should be fairly simple. So I'm going to right-click on it. So I click on it to select it, and then I'm going to right-click on it in Explorer and go down to Export Selection and export it as an OBJ into the folder that I want to put it in. So you can't see my folders right now because OBS Studio is not letting you. Let me see now if you can see it. No. The only way to do that, I guess in OBS Studio, for every single folder I want to show you, I have to, I gotta find it. And it doesn't always show up. There it is, okay. So now you can see the folder that I'm using. So I just pick a folder. I have one they call Blender Exports for AltSpace, and that's not necessarily the best name for it because I'm not using Blender anymore, but that's where I put all my assets. So yay, I'll keep using it. So I'll call this soccer ball, and it's an OBJ, and I'll export that out. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the golf cart here, the solar golf cart. Now that solar golf cart could be a problem because it has a golf cart and it has solar panels and it has a script. And sometimes scripts really screw things up for AltSpace. So we'll just hold our fingers and hope it works because I don't think the script's going to come out as an OBJ, so we should be all right. So let's, again, export selection and call this golf cart with solar and save that in there. All right, those are the two that I want to bring in. You bring in objects sort of a bit at a time because sometimes they can create problems. And having done that, I don't need to be in Roblox anymore. I now need to go over to Unity. And here in Unity, I want you to note that I'm in Unity 2019.4.2 F1. That's the version of Unity that works with the AltSpace plugin, the package that does the uploader that you see over here. So you definitely need to have that there. Let me close that tab and we'll show you. We'll open it later on from here. Because when you download Unity 2019.4.2 F1, save it on your desktop, and then I suggest you use Unity Hub to be able to access the different versions of Unity you have, because you can have a 2020 version but that's not the one you're going to be doing your work that you want to export into AltSpace. So 2019.4.2 I have fun, and then what I do is I open up the assets folder that I've created. This one's Culhane Models. You can put your object in two ways. You can right-click in the assets folder and then go to import new asset. But sometimes that hasn't worked for me. So I find it's best to open up the folder that you were using, and let's see if you can see it up here. No, you can't. Once again, OBS Studio, you can be a pain. All right, let me just change this. There we go. So there's that folder there, and you take that folder and you keep it open. That's the Build Your Exports for AltSpace, and sort of move it where you can see both the folder and you can see the Explorer, the Assets folder in Unity. So you got two folders. You got a folder that's part of Windows, and you've got the folder for Assets in Unity. And now I'm going to look for Soccer Ball. There it is, Soccer Ball. I'm going to bring in the material and the object and just drag it into the Assets folder. And I'm going to do the same thing with the golf cart that we just did. So where's my golf cart now? We sort this by name. And go down to golf cart with solar. Drag that in. And that should work for that. You don't need to see the folder anymore. Okay. So so now that we have those in, let us now go to Unity and let's drag these into the world. So here's the soccer ball, and the soccer ball, I've given up trying to place things in Unity. It just doesn't work. I just drag it in and it'll appear wherever the heck it appears, and then hit the F key to find it. And then you'll find that Roblox brings things in larger, much larger than they ought to be in the real world. It's about several times larger. So I take the scale and I bring it down either to 0.25 or 0.15. I try 0.15. I can always scale it up. So 0.15 and 0.15. Now hit F to find it again, because it always moves it whenever you do that. And that may be more reasonable, yeah, for a soccer ball. And then move it over to the soccer net that we brought in. Let's put it on the ground and zoom in there. Now, what happened to our texture? Our texture's gone inconveniently. And that doesn't do anything. So sometimes you lose your materials textures, even though it says material. And I don't know when it brings in the MTL what it thinks it's doing, because it's not doing the right thing. So this is a case where later on we'll have to go and try to texture this, because it doesn't seem to have a material on it. There's a mesh, it says material, but there's nothing in the material. You can select shader, and will that do anything? Soccer ball. Nope, it's not going to do anything. Ain't going to do anything. So whatever that material is, select material. It says that's the soccer ball material. No, it's not going to work. I still haven't figured out how you, when you bring in an OBJ, how you change the materials that come with it. I do know, and I guess I can show you this. If I go, let's see, soccer ball material. If I go to Chrome, okay, and I type in soccer ball texture. They have these different textures here, right? Seamless texture. So you can think, well, that's got the cam stuck on it. Let's just try this one here, or loopable texture, seamless soccer ball texture. Let's try that. So let me save this image as soccer ball texture. And now let me go back to Unity, and I've saved it in my assets under Culhane Models, Materials for Culhane Models, Texture Images. So my soccer ball thing should be in here somewhere. There it is. Now, oops. It's not letting me get into that. Click on it. There we go. And nothing happened. Why? Oh, lordy. Maybe I have to put another material on this and then put it in. So let me create a new material. And let me call this soccer ball. And then from this material, I will take the shader and go down to Legacy Shaders and go to Diffuse, and then select the texture for the soccer ball, which should be in here somewhere. This is a more roundabout method. Let's see if this works. I guess I could search for it. Yep, soccer ball. And select that. Now take that soccer ball material and drop it on. And lo and behold, it only does part of it. Lovely. All right, this is going to be a really ugly looking soccer ball. But, you know, for now it'll do. I guess the way this thing came out, it's textured really funny. Bring this ball out in the light. And let me see what happens when I rotate this. Yeah, at least it's covered. Oh, it's at the bottom. And that ain't even working. What's going on here? Okay. Well, it's just an ugly soccer ball. Doesn't look like a real soccer ball at all. Some part of that, by the way, could be when you're doing tiling. If we change the tiling and make that maybe like 0.1, make the Y 0.1. That's too big. Maybe we go 0.3 and 0.3. That's getting a little bit better. It's not matching up though, but it looks a little bit better. Maybe we go back to the tiling and maybe go 0.4 and see what that looks like. It's a little bit better. All right, so we'll just stay with that. From a distance, who really is going to tell? All right. So we have the soccer ball. Just save this. And let me move this down. There's the soccer ball. It's funny because when we did the volleyball yesterday, the volleyball came in with its texture, and the soccer ball didn't. That happens sometimes. All right, so you got the soccer ball, and now the other thing I want to bring in is my golf cart. So let me go back to models here, and where's my golf cart? Let's see, the golf cart is golf cart with solar. So we bring it in, find it, there it is. Again, didn't come in with any of its textures. Shame on that. So something's going wrong with the material export from Roblox. But anyway, we'll scale it down to 0.15, 0.15, and 0.15. And then hit F to find it again. And see if that's the right size. And the best way to do that is to go near a car. It could be that this is not the right size. In fact, it looks like it's way too tiny, in fact. And if that's the case, then we change it, and it's going to move position. You'll see 0.25 always disappears. 0.25, 0.25, and let's find it. Oops. Golf cart, where are you? Golf cart, there you are. Golf cart, click on it, hit F, comes up to the middle of the biodigester. Alright, so there's the golf cart. And I do want to get a texture on this of some kind. How do we do this? So I still haven't figured out what the MTL files, all these little white things here, when they come out of Roblox, why they are blank. I haven't figured that part out. Because you'd think that that would be what just simply goes on there. And when I open this up, you can see that it does have a place to put these color. The materials are there, but they don't have any material. And it doesn't allow me to get in and do anything with it. If I edit the shader, surface shader, no, keyword, it doesn't even let me enter or edit the shader. So I'm not really sure, like the solar panel materials should be in here, and it's not. So when you click on this, it tells you nothing useful for what we want to do. So edit shader, select material. Well, it's not letting me select material, and it won't let me select the shader. So I'm rather confused about that. At any rate, we know that we can do it independently because each of these has an independent thing. And I do have a solar panel shader that I brought in earlier, so I might have to rebuild some of these things. I'll go back to my materials, my texture images, find my solar panel, and click on the part I want to get in there, and then bring it up and drag it on. Now I have a solar panel there. Here, click on that, drag this in, and I have, whoops, should be having a solar panel. Why don't I have a solar panel? There we go. There's a solar panel. It looks like a different solar panel. How bizarre. Okay, well, that's weird. But at least it has the solar panel thing on it. Right, and then the windshield. The windshield, maybe I'll use this texture here for the windshield. It doesn't look so great. Again, it's a tiling issue on that one. And tiling, but I'm not going to mess with that now. I'm going to put this color for the seat. I'll pick that. Oops, can I click on it? If it'll let me. Golf cart, golf cart. And the wheels need to be black. There we go. What can I use for black? Does it really even matter? I don't have a black material. However, I can go to materials, and let's go to this color there. That wheel, and that wheel, and that wheel, and do the same thing. Let's see if it'll let me do this one. Let me do that. So there's a lot of stuff I don't really understand about these models here and how to get at the different parts of it, like this seat back here. But there it is, and that'll just do for now. Because I don't understand like how to get, yeah, it's not letting me put any color on that part. But at least we have a golf cart. All right, so we're going to try to now export these into AltSpace as part of a kit rather than a template. So yesterday we were looking at taking the whole world, this whole place, and going to click on AltSpace VR, which brings up the builder right here. And that builder has two areas, three actually, but settings you don't mess with. It has template and kit. Template is, as I said, the movie set, the whole scene, the entire area, which comes in as a static template, a static environment that is what you base your world on, your individual world. And hold on one second, I could pick up the baby. He's crying here for a second. Hey, kid. Here. Okay. This baby's going to have to stay with us while we do the export here. All right. So that's the whole world. And then there's kit. And I'm going to use kit. Kit is for making props. And the first thing I'll do is I will load the kits that I already have. When I click that button, it speaks to AltSpace VR, to my account there. And now you see it says loaded kits, and they all appear. And then I have, I want to take this and put kit folder name. I'm going to put this into my, I'm going to put the golf cart into Culhane Vehicles. So let's start with that. So I'm going to say Culhane Vehicles. All right, and then the kit asset name is golf cart solar. And then I'm going to select golf carts, Culhane Vehicles. First thing I do is I convert the game object that I've selected into a prefab. So I need to select the golf cart. There it is selected. I can also select it from here. So I've selected the whole golf cart. And having selected the golf cart, I now say convert it into kit prefab. And it's going to process it, and then it says kit asset created, and it disappeared from my environment. So it's no longer in the main environment. It's not part of the template. It's not part of the scene anymore. It's in a folder called prefabs down here, and it's probably in Culhane Vehicles, and there it is. So that's the folder that it put it into. Now I select Culhane Vehicles as a kit, which I already have in AltSpace, and then have checked Build Kit for Windows, Build Kit for Android, and now I load the kit prefab directories and say to Culhane Vehicles, build and upload. It says you can upload kit to existing kit Culhane Vehicles. And so I go build and upload. And now it should do its compiling and compressing. And as I said, this is a hit or miss thing. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So we wait, and we wait, and we wait, and we wait. And we'll know it's starting to work if it not only does the build and shader rendering, as it's doing now, compiling shader variants and compressing the data and building the asset bundle, but if it actually then handshakes with AltSpace VR. So I don't know, I guess you can't see everything that's going on from what OBS Studio is showing you. But I just had a window pop up, which is a command line interface, and now it says upload complete. All right, I'm going to do the same thing with the soccer ball that we brought. So there's the soccer ball. I'm going to click on the soccer ball, and I'm going to load the prefab directories again. Easy. And this one is going to be called, this kit folder name is going to be called props. And this is going to be called a soccer ball. Okay, and I'm going to convert the kit to prefab, so the soccer ball disappears. And if you look at prefabs, there now is a folder called props, and in that is soccer ball. Okay, so now I'm going to load the kits that are already in my AltSpace account, and I'm going to put this in under Rosebud Assets. That's the kit I'm going to select, and we load the kit prefab directories. It's going to be uploaded to Rosebud Assets. I'm going to build and upload, and that should process. Easy, baby. And it does its uploading. And a window appears from the command line and faces upload complete. Okay, so that is now how I've gotten the props from Roblox into Unity, and now from Unity into AltSpace. So I need to go to AltSpace, and that means turning on Chrome for you to see. Easy, baby. Easy, baby. And now let me open up AltSpace. VR.com and sign in. And you should see when I sign in, if I go to More and go to Worlds, and then go to My Worlds, and then go to Universes, and then go to My Universe, then you'll see that I have the world I created for Rosebud Continuum. You'll see that it was based on a template, which is called my AltSpace Kit template, which I updated 18 hours ago. That's the scene, that's the landscape and the buildings, the biodigesters, the trees, all that. That's not the props. So the props are objects. When you go back to the world that you've created, which is based on the template, which is the scene, your props are known as objects. And you'll see there's a Pusheen prop, a rosebud map, palms. Let's see if the soccer ball got in here. Yeah. No, there's a cat. There's rainbows. There's rubbish. Campfire. It does not seem to be under any particular order. So maybe it failed. Maybe it didn't work. But we'll check it out. We'll find out by going actually into the world and seeing. There's something strange though, because it should have shown up here. There you go. So let's see if we'll go into the world now and see if it showed up. It may have just simply failed, and that does happen. But let's find out. So we're launching AltSpace. AltSpace is coming up. Excuse the crying baby, he's having a diaper change. And that's always a bit of a trauma for babies. They're like, I don't want to have a diaper change. I don't want to have a diaper change. And of course, there's no other place to go since we're under quarantine because of COVID-19. Can't go into the office. So everything is done at home. I know a lot of you are facing the same challenges. So we got to stick together on this. working from home to keep things safe. So you gotta wait for this thing to load. Sometimes it takes a while for AltSpace to load. It seems to be taking inordinately long. Come on, let's go, AltSpace. That certainly is taking a while. Account for Y. We have to try it again. Close the window. And let's try it one more time. Let's go in. And let's see if it will in fact load. So here we go. Well, it's taking its sweet time. Something's stalling. It's definitely stalling, so I can't account for that. I don't think I have too many windows open. But it's just stalled. Alright, there's another way to do this. Let me see if I can get into AltSpace without using the browser. So I'm going to close down AltSpace and SteamVR, and I'm just going to go to my desktop and I'm going to write AltSpace VR and launch the app from the program itself and see if that helps in any way. Can't imagine why it would, but I'm going in now into the basic home world rather than going into my world. Maybe I made a mistake. Maybe there's some coding, programming problems getting into my world. So let's find out. It's always hit and miss with these things. Some days it works perfectly well, and some days it simply doesn't. Or maybe there's a problem with the AltSpace server today. Who's to know? Come on, AltSpace, you can do it. It's coming up now. And it's just stalling. Well, my apologies for that. I guess while this is... it's loading its objects. Alright, there we go. Well, so now that we're in AltSpace, I can go to Worlds and go to My Worlds. This is in the program itself. And then go into My Game. And wait for that to load. And now my environmental sounds are loading, so you hear crickets and birds and creatures of the night. My game is getting pretty big with a lot of objects, so that is part of the problem. So these are the trade-offs. Maybe my object is causing the problem. Maybe that's why it's not working. Maybe those two objects, maybe it's the golf cart, maybe it's the soccer ball, but I doubt it. So we wait. And we wait. And we read their tips. And we wait. Yeah. I do begin to believe that the objects are the problem, but now I don't know how to get out of this loop. And it probably is the golf cart. It's a crazy object to bring in. Well, and AltSpace could still be checking on those objects, and that could be the problem. Let's see if we go back to the window here, and let me go back to the website here. If I go back to the website and I reload, and then I go to objects, so far it's not saying that those objects even made it in. And I think it loads the objects with the last one you did first, because pushing prop I did yesterday. And so let's see what's going on here. Still not working. Yeah. All right. It's really hung up. The only way that I'd be able to fix it is by deleting it from here, but it doesn't look like I can delete it from here because it hasn't loaded here. So another thing I can try to do, since I'm having trouble with this, nope, it worked. It just took a long time. Look at that. All right, so this is my template that you're seeing, like this volleyball, this racket, and this birdie. Oh, you can't see me. Wait a minute. I need you to be switched over in Roblox Studio. I'm sorry, in the OBS Studio. All right, here we are. So it finally loaded, and this is what I'm saying. This is my template. Template are the things that I brought in that don't move, that are in the world. And yesterday I had simply had the volleyball and the racket and the birdie as part of my template. So I can't do anything with them. Can't select them. The drone, on the other hand, which is flying around somewhere in the sky. Where did that drone go? There's the drone. So the drone is a prop, which has an animation associated with it. So that drone is movable. The basketball court and the basketballs are props. The beehives, on the other hand, are not props. They're fixed in the world as part of the set, as part of the template. So we want to bring that soccer ball in as part of as a prop. The rat over here is a prop. Chickens are props. All right, so the soccer ball, I'm going to go to World Editor, and I'm going to go to Kits, but I'm going to go to My Kits. So I go to Mine, and then to Kits. And then I look at Rosebud Assets, and I should have, I brought in, it looks like it didn't come in, so maybe that was a problem. Let's try it again. Let's see. Buildings, cube test, separator, nope. Looks like the soccer ball didn't make it in. Let's see about the vehicles. Nope, there is no golf cart. So that was a fail. These are the ones I have brought in successfully, but it appears that these others didn't come in. So, okay. So let's see how we deal with that. We didn't get them in for some reason. So we will now go to, so here it didn't work. I can reload this and you'll see those props never made it in. Nope, they didn't make it in. They didn't make it in here. And so we go back to Unity, and that soccer ball was supposed to build. If I go load kits, and then I have a props folder. This is props, soccer ball, and then load kits. And I selected those bud assets, said it was going to put it in there. I load the prefab directories. They are loaded already. And then I do build and upload. Let's see what happens. It says it's building it, it says it's compressing the data, and now it says it is communicating. It says upload complete. So I should be able to find it now in the world. And I got a server error. There it is, the server error. So when I open that up, still under objects, go to worlds, go to my worlds, go to universes, go to my universe, go to the world there, go to objects. Did not come in. Sure did not. Really hard to account for when that happens, because normally it comes in just fine. You can try a different approach. Of course, it'll be static, but what we could do is we could put it in as part of the template. And at least those objects will be there to walk around, but we won't be able to place them in the game. So let me bring soccer ball back in to the world. No, that doesn't work. It doesn't even come into the world. That's strange. So I'll go back to my models and bring in soccer ball again. We're gonna have, whoa, that's crazy. Oh, it brought it in, but it brought it in a weird location. Okay, that's fine. There's the soccer ball. It just comes in a really strange location. And that might be part of the problem with the prop. Sometimes what happens is that it has other information in it, which really makes it crazy. There's a bunch of soccer balls here. Oops. What's going on here? I brought this prop in. I zoomed to it. It's way over here. I'm selecting it. See how it moves, but it's not centered? That creates a huge problem. It means that the origin is way off. And that creates problems for things. So there's a workaround for this. Let's deal with that workaround and see if we can get this thing to work. I'm going to delete that from here. What I do is then go into using Blender. So let's do that. Let's turn on Blender. And let me open Blender for you over here. Bring Blender up. Alright, there's Blender. And with Blender open, let's get rid of the cube. And get rid of the light. And get inside the light. And get rid of the camera. And let's go to Import OBJ. And let's bring in the soccer ball. So the soccer ball is soccer ball, where are you, soccer ball? There's soccer ball, and bring in its MPL. Let's see if that helps maybe. Import that OBJ, And now let's try to find the soccer ball. Oh, it comes in, but it doesn't even show up. That soccer ball's got problems. Wow. Can't even find the soccer ball. That is really strange. Alright, delete on that. Let's go back to Roblox. Let's go back to Roblox Studio. And let's go in and see if we get back to that soccer ball, what was wrong with that. So this was a soccer ball that just had a bunch of decals on it. And I got that soccer ball from the toolbox. It said it's hit and miss sometimes. Soccer ball. Very realistic ball. And there's a soccer ball. Might be this soccer ball has a script. And it could be that that's what the problem is. So I'm going to bring in a different soccer ball. That soccer ball there. And bring it down. Okay. And call that soccer ball. And now take that soccer ball and right click on it, export selection, and make this soccer ball 2. Two text for some reason. Soccer ball realistic. Let's do that one. Right. Soccer ball realistic. And export that one out. And now let's go into Blender and bring in that soccer ball. Because usually if it works in Blender, you can get it to work in the other programs. Nothing is always, but there's soccer ball and soccer ball material. Import that OBJ. And now still not seeing it. That is so bizarre. Why? Why is a soccer ball not coming in? Huh. Stranger than fiction. It has a soccer ball mesh, and yet it's not coming in. What does it mean? Let me try importing the golf cart. Let's just do the golf cart. Ah, the golf cart came in. Alright, that wasn't the problem. So we have the golf cart. It's even completely textured properly. So I'm going to try to save this as an FBX and see if that route works better. So I'm going to go File, so let me save this, and let me shrink it too. So I'm going to take the S scale key. Ah, look at that. So there's that problem I was talking about. Look at that. There's its origin, and that can account for many of the problems. So we want to, first of all, select the object and go Set Origin, Origin to Geometry, which puts that ball right in the center of it. That's going to help a lot. And then let's scale this thing down because size of file has a lot to do with things when they're coming in. And besides scaling it down, let's go look at how many triangles it has. This one has 7,000 faces and 7,000 triangles. If I scale it up, it has the same number, so that doesn't matter. It should always be under 10,000 for absolute sure. But look at the amount of megabytes that it uses. So I'm going to see if I can decimate this just a little bit after I save it. Save as, and let's call this golf cart solar. And now we have a blend file. Let me go to this gear here, add modifier, and go to decimate. It's got a face count of 7,000. Let me change the ratio, bring it down a bit. See how far I can go with this before it all starts looking like crazy. So it brought it down to a face count of 2,517, and it still looks decent. It's not a very complicated model. I'll probably bring it down even more. Then we start losing some stuff. Still probably. All right, let's keep it at 2,500. Like about that. And let's apply that. And now let's export this. Export, and let's export it as an FBX file. Golf cart FBX. Make sure we're just doing the selected objects. And export the objects from the active collection and its children. Just to active collection. And yeah, let's do the apply unit, apply transform. We won't do. Let's export it. And now let's go into Unity. So now we're in Unity. And let me go back to Culhane Models. And let's bring a different golf cart in. So I'll go to my folder and find it under here in this folder, golf cart solar. Drag that in, and let's see what happens when I go up to golf cart solar. That's golf cart with solar, and there's golf cart solar. Let me zoom in on it. Nothing. Oh my. Hey, wait a minute. Why? Why has that got nothing in it? It's nowhere to be found. Oh, that's pretty bad. So, delete this. That FBX didn't do a darn thing. Alright, it's back to Blender then. Something isn't liking something. Back to Blender, let's pick our golf cart. Now let's do it as an OBJ again. Export as OBJ. And make it golf cart solar. As opposed to golf cart with solar, which is the last one we had. Oh, and I have to make sure when I do that, that I click selection only in my material groups as well, and export. Now when I come into Unity, take my folder, take this golf cart solar, there's the FBX, there's that one, bring that in. And let's find it. Golf cart solar. Alright, drop that in. And there it is. Again, it's missing all of its textures, which is really lousy. If I bring in the MTL, the material folder, it's not really going to help me. It doesn't do anything. So I have some learning to do about what my materials here, like how do you change them so they're not coming in. but I'll settle right now to, if this thing actually works as an export, I'd be happy. I'm actually even going to leave it way out here in the world because I just want to put it in to AltSpace as a kit. So let me load my kit prefab directories. Let me change this folder name to one that we have already. Loaded kits. Let's do Rosebud assets. No, vehicles. Cocaine vehicles. And then kit asset name is going to be golf cart, solar, and then convert this to a kit prefab. And it disappears, and then load my kits, hidden cocaine vehicles, and then load the kit prefab directories, which are all here, and then put in Rosebud, no cocaine, put in vehicles. And let's see if that works. Or it's just one of those days when things don't work. Procedure is correct, but the execution isn't working today. But I've done it a bunch of times successfully, so I know that the procedure is right. End layout group, begin layout group must be called first. There's an error message at the bottom of the screen about layout groups. So I don't know what that means. Now it's handshaking, and it's talking to, it says upload complete. So now let's go over to AltSpace and see if we have any love there. So there's AltSpace. Go to World Editor, go to Mine, go to Kits, and go to Vehicles. No. That's really strange. Rosebud Assets, Cinder Block. Where's the plane? Nope. Maybe because it needs to be reloaded, that's a possibility. So we can go to the website and see if, when we load that, let's see if we load that, did it even show up? Nope, didn't show up. So we're having troubles here. And I can't account for why. These are all the ones that I did load that did work. And today, we're not having any luck. Nope. Well, in those times you have to admit defeat, even though it said that it worked. And it says I uploaded it to an existing kit called Cocaine Vehicles. Now let me look and see, maybe the folder build and upload. Maybe I put it in the wrong folder. Let me try it from here. Because it has to build from where you're pulling stuff. So maybe I should do from Cocaine Vehicles. Let's look inside and see. Let me try this. Alright. Maybe these names here are the folders of the prefabs. See? And that golf cart is in here in one called Cocaine Vehicles. So I may have done it wrong. Let me build and upload from here, and then it's going to go to an existing kit called Cocaine Vehicles, which is what we selected here. So let me go to Cocaine Vehicles here and redo the upload. Alright, it's handshaking. says upload complete. Let me now look in Chrome and see if there's been any change. Nope, no change. That could be that just has the objects that are in the world. Okay, hold on a second. So this is interesting. I was looking at the objects in the world, and I hadn't brought it in the world yet. So that doesn't really tell me something about that. As for how you find your props that are not yet in the world, that's a different story. Go to my world. If I go to universes, are there objects that I can... No. So really, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know until I get into my world and see. Hold on, let me try this then. Let me go back to AltSpace. And maybe I have to re-enter the world. So I'm going to go in here and go to settings, go to re-enter space. See if that makes a difference. Alright, so we're back in, and now I'm going to open the world editor, go to mine and kits, look at Colhane vehicles, and there it is, golf cart with solar. It finally worked. Alright, doesn't have the texturing on it, and it's not doing anything when I try to load it. But it's there, at least it appears there. Unfortunately, it's doing nothing. Well, that's a shame. It's kind of working and kind of not. And that's not a friendly, fun way to do things. Golf cart solar. Let's try it again. World editor. Kits. Mine. Kits. Vehicles. It should appear here in a white box. And it may do that eventually. Sometimes what happens is you'll load an object, like this fifth wheel, and it won't show up for a long while. But obviously we did get the fifth wheel in before, because there it is, way over there. I have the fifth wheel there. So today is just a bad day. But those white objects, those are all the props that I've brought in so far, and the rest that's not in white are part of the template. And props, as I said, can be moved about. If I want to move this bus, yeah, I can move the bus. But my golf cart ain't going in. If I keep clicking on it, I'll bet I'm going to come back and I'm going to have like 4 golf carts in here. Because that's the way this thing works sometimes. It's really kludgy that way. Meanwhile, while I'm in here, I might as well get rid of the prop of the solar panel because I brought solar panels in up here and I don't need the prop anymore. So I'll get rid of that prop by unlocking all and then selecting it. It comes up here and I will simply delete it. Boom. And then lock it. So I don't know what happened to the... Yes, I'll be right there. I don't know what happened to the golf cart. Sometimes if you go out and come in, you'll see that it shows up. So I'll do that. I'll re-enter the space. And then see if it's in, and then I'm probably going to give up after this. Because the procedure is working, but something with the model is not working. So here I am in the world, and I go to World Editor, and go to Mine, and go to Kits, and Colhane Vehicles, and there's the golf cart, and I put it in, and nothing happens once again. And so if I also go out to, Chrome, it may actually be in the world. So if I go to My Worlds, and I go to universes. I'm going to get him in a second. Alright, hold on, baby. I'll be right there. Objects. Yeah, golf cart is in there 4 times, as you can see. So, hey, baby. Right, so obviously the procedure is working, but it's messed up in terms of finding the object. Because if I go here, golf cart with solar, you can see there's an artifact and it's in Culhane vehicles. And I can delete that one because I have too many, but if I go back, I've still got all these other ones here, so I'll just keep deleting the extras. They may appear later on in the world. I'll leave 2 of them in, and we will see what happens eventually when we re-enter the space. Like if I exit AltSpace and then I come back in, maybe they'll show up, and they'll show up without good texturing for sure. So we go back into AltSpace. So we're coming back in. Maybe it's useful that you're seeing this to see the frustrations that we go through. And maybe it has to do with the complexity of the model, though the soccer ball made me think that it didn't, because soccer balls are a very simple object. So here I am in my home world, and sometimes I just test objects out in my home world because I can. Like over here I have like a little solar panel that I was testing out. So without going into my world, there's some solar panels that I modeled. See that one there, and those there, and biodigesters that I modeled. So let's see if I bring in my kits. Can I bring the golf cart in here? Ah, yeah, I guess I can now. But it comes in with a really weird, long, look at that, it's like a strip there. And golf cart, let's find it here. There it is, golf cart. So golf cart, and then I can tell it to scale up to, let's say, 0.5 for starts, not 5. 0.5. And set the rotation to 0, 0, and 0. And then it comes up, and it's got this huge bounding box. I don't even know where the cart starts. Somewhere at the other edge of this bounding box. So where is it? Wow, look at how big this thing is. It's massive. It takes up an entire city, so that's no good. So let's bring it down to 0.25. Not 25, that'll be the size of Godzilla. It's a little bit better, but still massively huge. Let's bring it down to 0.05. Alright, there it is. Then change it in worldwide and lift it up. So where's the actual golf cart in all this? Oh, it seems like it's way down there. Looky there. So we're still facing this bounding box problem because the golf cart itself, if I zoom down here, that looks like it's there. Yes, it is. Goodness gracious. That is the golf cart way down there. What? I will. Seems like the golf cart is way at that corner. we can even see it. There it is. Yep, you can see it there. And then we'd have to continue to, well, continue to move it. So as long as it's got that huge bounding box, it's useless to us. See, I'm gonna turn off the edit mode, and you'll see, where did the golf cart go now? We had it a second ago. Turn back on the editing mode. It's up there in the air. There it is, way up there in the air. Hold on. Bring it down to the ground. Turn off edit mode. And close this. See that little teeny golf cart? Look at that. There it is. All right, it obviously worked, but it's not working well. So until we get rid of that bounding box, we're not going to be able to use this. We've got to figure out why those huge bounding boxes occur. I thought it was because of the point in Blender that we looked at, and it isn't. So something's wrong. All right, thank you for blundering through with me. Obviously, there's a lot more to learn here.